Rev up your engines!
Well, Fisker, if you don't remember, they made the Fisker Ocean, the electric vehicle. The company is now bankrupt. They're trying to get a court order to allow them to sell the rest of their Fiskers for only $13,926 a piece. Now, you'd wonder, who's going to buy these stupid things? Originally, they were averaged about $60,000 a piece. Now, that's a deal, right? Well, this is bankruptcy court stuff, right? A New York-based leasing company called American Lease, they want to buy the 3,321 of these Oceans that are left for $13,926 a piece for a total of $46.25 million. Because there's a reason why the money. But the thing is, the court's got to okay it, because you might think, oh, $46.25 million, that's a lot of money, right? Fisker is over $1 billion in total debt to all its unsecured creditors. There was nothing behind it. It's like, loan somebody $10,000 with no security at all. No, don't put a lien in your house. Don't let me take your car. Here's $10,000. Just pay me back when you can, you know? So somehow they suckered people to put in over $1 billion in unsecured money. And now they're trying to sell what's left of their cars for $46.5 million. Well, $46.5 million out of $1 billion is a literal spit in the bucket. So who knows if the court will approve it or not? It's not going to help these people that are owed $1 billion. Around 3% of the money that's owed. So that would mean if you gave these clowns $1, you get 3 cents back. I'd be kind of peed too if I'd invested the money and all I got was 3% of my money back of what I invested, right? You got to say, even this company, they're willing to buy them for that low price. It's a leasing company, right? They're hoping that they can lease these things out. And of course, where you're going to get parts, who's going to fix them when they break? But if they're getting them that dirt cheap, if you figure out what they're leasing for each year, if they got them and they leased them all out and it didn't break down too much, they'd still make a good profit. Because you amortize how much it costs for buying a car for that cheap price, 13 grand, that originally was 60-something thousand dollars. If most of them still ran okay for a while, they could make money on the deal, right? But whether the courts will say they can do it or not, hey, if I was running, I'd say you're only giving those people back 3% of your money. Go to Hades, try selling them on eBay or something. Well, there is gas tax relief for millions of Americans. Take Missouri. People in Missouri can now apply, if they saved all their receipts for gasoline, for tax relief of the extra gas tax that they put on gasoline, right? You might think that's great. If you have your receipts from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, you can apply for a rebate. Now, you might think, oh, phenomenal. Well, get this. It's not worth your time, even if you live in Missouri, right? Because in 2022, the Missouri Department of Revenue reported that the average refund was $27.86. Now, are you going to find all the gas receipts, fill it up, hope the government gives you money? You got to mail it to them. That's going to cost you a stamp. So right there for $27. No, I don't think most people are going to do that. That's not how the world works. For that tiny amount of money you're going to get back, is it worth the bother? No, it isn't. It's just yet another government scam. We're giving people back their tax money. Hardly anything. And half of them would probably be lost in the mail or they wouldn't fill it out. And you got to spend all your time filling out the form. Hey, what are you working for free? Or are you working for $27? How long will it take you to do this? Probably hours and hours. And then you hope you get back $27. For the first half of 2024, the Highlander sales have plunged. They plunged 47%. So something's up there, right? Well, one of the reasons is because now they have the Grand Highlander, right? Well, they're both Highlanders, but this is a Grand Highlander. The Grand Highlander is a longer Highlander, okay? So they made it bigger. They've only sold 60,000 Highlanders this first half of 2024. But they've sold almost the same 55,000 Grand Highlanders. So you add it together, and they're actually not selling less Highlanders. There's Highlanders and there's Grand Highlanders. We're talking about nitpicking here, right? In the first half of the year, Toyota sold 1,019,000 vehicles. So they sold a lot of vehicles. And who really cares what the stupid name is? Well, it's not a Highlander. It's a Grand Highlander. Oh, well, they sold 50% less green ones this year, but the white sales were up. It's just stupid. Some of these figures. So overall, Toyota sold 28% more SUVs, 13% more cars, and that doesn't even include the Lexus sales that have a record-breaking first half of the year. So, yeah, take all these figures with a grain of salt. Oh, look, the sales of Highlanders are down 47%. Yeah, but not the Grand Highlanders. They're still Highlanders, right? I mean, some of these media people, they're looking for a story anywhere. Oh, look, the sales of this are down in terms of explicit technicalities, but in the real world, it doesn't mean anything. They're still Highlanders, Grand Highlanders, and they sold over 100,000 of them in the first half. Here we go. It's a flying car. It even looks like a car. This is the first FAA-approved flying car. It's called the Model A. ALF Aeronautics announced their Model A, and they said it's approved by the FAA for flying around, right? Now, it's approved for a test run, not that you can buy. It isn't approved for the public. It's approved for a test run, right? Now, what it actually got is called a Special Airworthiness Certification from the FAA. But it's also going to have to meet the NHTSA specs, too, which it hasn't yet. So, and it's even before they test it. Still a long way to go. Now, it's another electric vertical takeoff thing, right? It's actually not really a car. It's a joke for that, because they said its maximum speed is 25 miles an hour on the ground. Well, I wouldn't call that a car. Maybe they can call it a car, but who's going to pay whatever ridiculous sum they're going to want for this thing when they can only go 25 miles an hour on the ground? It's got to be approved by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, right? Is it going to meet crash specifications? I rather doubt it, right? It's going to be lightweight. I can't see it meeting crash specs, and it's only allowed to go 25 miles an hour. You couldn't legally allow that on roads, if you ask me. If it goes that slow, you can't be driving 25 miles around the road. You'd be going too slow, right? So it's yet another example of, oh, look, flying cars, they'll be here soon. Yeah, they said that in the 60s. They're still not here. Not real ones at any stretch of the imagination. And yeah, the FAA approved, oh, you can test it, but even the NHTSA says you can't try them yet until we approve it. So they can't even approve them for testing yet. So don't hold your breath on any real flying cars. Even if they made this thing and it only goes 25 miles an hour, it's not really a car. It's a joke then. Well, you know, I tell you how GM products are crap. Well, here's an email from a viewer, and he's certainly in a crapper with his Cadillac, right? Daddy O'Doc says, Scotty, I recently bought a 2018 Cadillac CT6 with 24,000 miles. I started to get slipping and hard shifting when doing a rolling stop. It almost feels like it's dropping a gear. I complained about it at the Cadillac deal, and they said, that's a feature of the 8-speed GM transmissions. They said it wasn't ruining the transmission. My response was, so you're really trying to tell me GM provided a feature that only works for the first 10 to 15 minutes you drive, then goes away, not to mention a feature that almost gives you whiplash. I could tell the service manager was being put on a spot. It was almost like wink, wink, he knows it's BS, but it's what they're told to say to the customers dealing with the issue. Well, I'm not sure what else to do other than let it break since I have a lifetime drivetrain warranty. Let them replace the whole thing. Hope that they cover it. Yeah, lifetime drivetrain, right? Well, we're sorry, but the seal went out in the transmission, and seals aren't included in the warranty. I have had that happen with customers, right? The engine and transmission are covered, but not the seals in the engine and transmissions, right? So if the seals go bad, then, well, you got to pay for it because the seal went bad and it was ruined. The warranties, especially General Motor warranties, generally aren't worth the paper they are printed on. Realize that. You should have never bought that Cadillac. So I tell people, don't buy them. They're piles of crap, right? You bought one and you're stuck with it. And you do have the warranty, but good luck. Because if it's doing what yours is doing, it's going to break eventually, right? And they'll probably come up with some harebrained excuse. Or they'll say, well, when they all get that mileage, that's normal. They don't move down the road. Then they're just a big paperweight. But that's what they're made for. Well, everybody's talking about fusion reactors to have limitless electricity from nuclear fusion, right? Well, it's a long way in the future. Now, it looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for the world's biggest fusion reactor. Here's a picture of what it's supposed to look like. Well, guess what? Not only is the cost of this thing 4 times the initial estimates, it's going to be over $22 billion. The start of deuterium tritium operation will be delayed from 2035 to 2039. Okay? It's 2024 now. They're saying, well, we're delaying this 15 years in the future, which we all know what that means. 50 years in the future, probably, if it even ever works. This stuff is so theoretical. The money that they're throwing into it, hey, it may be totally wasted. I've met scientists who told me they don't think they'll ever have nuclear fusion as a viable way to generate electricity. For experiments and stuff, yeah, great. But for actually generating power, the energy that has to be created, the high millions of degrees temperatures, how are you going to hold it? Then now people have done studies of the smaller ones they made and said there's all kinds of corrosion inside the things already and they've hardly used them at all. But to talk about, oh yeah, it's just around the corner. Now they're saying, Well, it's delayed now to 2039. That's 15 years from now, and this is the beginning of it, right? Hooking them up, making them run. Not that they're actually being used anywhere for power. And this is their best case scenarios. These are the guys that said, oh, well, it'll be 2035. No, now it'll be 2039. And the next thing you know, it'll be 2045. And it'll just keep going on and on and on. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.